Hello. This is a good week for a great update. The last video I made, I told you guys I had injured my tailbone, and the Lord totally did a great work on me this weekend. And in the middle of my yard work and weed eating, I had a really great experience, and I thought I was losing feeling in my legs, but it turned out God was healing my back. And over the weekend, it's gotten better and better. And today at church, it was the icing on the cake because I had zero pain, and I absolutely love it. And I just want to thank the Lord for all that He's done in that regard with my healing. It's kind of hard to be down and out when you're running a homestead, and especially a busy one with 3 kids and lots of work to do. And this has been such a productive weekend. God's been talking to me about joy, and the joy of the Lord truly is our strength. And today I'm very, very grateful to be up and about in zero pain. I am just so excited about that. All of our little chickens are doing great. You can see they're just loving it. They love being on the camera. So they are all gathered up here right in the corner to talk with us, and Oliver's even here, so he's kind of hanging out, and the chickens don't seem to mind him too much anymore. So there's a lot going on this week on the little homestead. So right now I have our bush beans. This is our second set of green beans for the fall, and you can see I've pinned up our corn with the cattle fencing because it was all hanging down, and we didn't really want that anymore. We wanted to get it off the ground. So it is doing really well. The green beans are doing great. We have watermelons now, which is so exciting. So all the watermelons are about softball size, and I'm gonna walk down here and show you what those look like. We are almost done picking tomatoes. They have produced so much for us. This weekend I had 15 pounds of tomatoes to do, and it's been like that every few days, which is fabulous. We're thinking we've probably canned close to 65 pounds of tomatoes this year, which for last year not having great success with tomatoes and half of our garden really, 65 pounds is just tremendous. And I am just so thankful. God has blessed us and blessed us with the rain. And I'm going to get down here and show you these watermelons, if you can see them. We got one right here. So this is our first little set of watermelons. We have, I think, close to 6 or 8 of these growing on this vine. So I am just super excited to see where these are going. We've got flowers on the pumpkins and flowers on the cantaloupes. Just everything is coming alive. You can kind of see here they all are. Looks like we might even have maybe a small pumpkin starting over there on one of these. So this is really exciting. I'm so excited. Another big thing that was a blessing this weekend was my dear friend came over and took all of my cinder blocks out of my strawberry bed. So her and her husband helped us just gut this whole new path here, this little part next to our existing garden, and we are going to expand this fall so that next year we're ready to go. And we'll have just a really big place to put vining fruits and vegetables over there, and that's going to be really exciting. We're going to get some 16-foot cattle fences and bend them over so we have little archways in that side of the garden, and I can walk under it and have a little bit easier time to pick those green beans and get all those out of there. This garden was really our first garden. You can see it's pretty weedy. We've done a lot of weeding this year. For 8 years, this has pretty much been our main garden, and so we started raised beds there a long time ago. They weren't very high raised beds, so they were kind of impractical. Whenever I had back situations, it was really hard to get down in there and pick the berries and get them cleaned out. And this year they just didn't really act like they fruited as well, so we just kind of let it go. We just let everything go, and that probably was a bad mistake all by itself, but we let it go. And so our friends were gracious enough to come to take all these cinder blocks and came over, and we knocked that out on Saturday morning. So now we have a fresh new start. We're going to fill in the holes where the cinder blocks were. And our plan is to do a raised row garden just like we did in this existing bed, where we'll have a row of compost and worm castings and topsoil. And then we'll lay those down and probably have mulch in between. And when we do that, then we'll cover it over with the black paper to keep the weeds out. And in the spring, we will burn the holes and plant the seeds and be ready to go. So it is very, very exciting to have this thing finally broke down. We've got a lot of work left to go, but I cannot wait to show it to you guys. It's going to be so much fun. So the last thing I want to show you is our compost tumbler, which Donnie, my husband, decided to give me a little boost and get this thing up off the ground, so we're not having to weed it so much. The weeds were getting caught, and we weren't sure how to get the compost out of the tumbler whenever it was finished. So this is his creation, and he made me a little stand for this compost tumbler. So if you guys have one of these, I have found it to be really great. It's helpful, it's easy to get things started and get the compost going, but getting it out was a real challenge. So I'm going to get up a little bit closer here. So you can see he just took some 4x4s and screwed this together and then made a stop down here. It also acts as a brace, but it's just an L shape. And then we have little brackets right here that just hold it onto the top. And these things all spin, so I can dump them out. And he said that the compost that's in here right now looks really great. So let's see ourselves if it actually is. He just dumped a bunch of mulch in here the other day and some grass clippings, and it's starting to break down already, and it just looks so good. So I am excited about this, and another person that we haven't met yet, but I hope to one day, has recommended and suggested that we start our own worm garden. So we're going to try that, because I spend $6 a bag on worm poop to get this garden going, and I would love to just make my own, so, or have my own worms that will do that work for me. So next year I hope we can have that started and going and see what we can do with setting up a worm garden. That's a brand new venture, so I don't know what that's going to be all about, but composting has been pretty good so far. So we're going to see what we can do with starting a worm bin and kind of saving ourselves a little bit of money that way. If you have experience with that, I would love to hear your suggestions and all of that kind of thing. Until then, we're going to try to get this going this coming week. Keep getting it prepped, and as we go, I'll record and show you kind of how we're laying down the weed paper, what kind of staples we're using, and I'll try to put a link to some of this paper. I've had several people ask me where we bought this. We did buy it on Amazon, and it's just the lined paper, and it comes in very large rolls. You can see it right here. It's just large rolls of woven plastic that are the plastic strips are interwoven, so it breathes well, but it does keep out the weeds. I have probably spent 5 minutes this entire season weeding this big garden, and I am so grateful, because I was spending 2 hours every morning last year to weed the whole thing. So we've tried a lot of different things. We've tried the mulching, we've tried walking rows, and so far doing the mulch and the walking rows for us with the black plastic over it has been super helpful. So I think we're going to continue this plan. This has been very efficient, and it saved us a lot of time and a lot of energy. It probably has cost us a little more in water, but it's worked out really good. And the drip lines have been fantastic. And again, all those were from Amazon. So I will post links to those things on that video whenever we set up the new site. So I look forward to talking to you again and telling you more updates. And it's exciting. I hope y'all have a great start to your week tomorrow.